So you have a power source, a global power source. What is that coat of arms hanging there between them?
It's where the power source comes from.
I see. Are those the keys that open the netherworld and the heavenly realms? I wonder who holds them, the one with the triple crown.
Yeah.
On Thursday, thousands of mostly young people answered social media calls to demonstrate against frequent power cuts and water shortages on the island that's located off the southeastern coast of Africa.
There were widespread looting and attacks on shopping centers, and several people lost their lives. And members of Generation Z have called for the movement to continue. What's interesting in this movement, it's new. I've never seen that in 15 years. It's mostly students, very young people. So that's why they call their movement Gen Z movement. And I haven't seen any political leader behind it. I haven't seen any political using of this. So it was mainly young people. But the tricky part of this movement is that at the end of the protest, at the end of the day on Thursday, protesters got more and more violent, and it looked like it was a different population because the Gen Z movement said they were a peaceful movement. They didn't want any violence. They don't want to do a putsch, a coup. They said they just wanted to be heard.
They wanted to bring in a national biometric ID that would be required to work. And here's the kicker. It was actually paired with amnesty for illegal immigrants. So this new scheme that they're working on in the United Kingdom, they're marketing it as a method of reining in illegal immigration, but it really has nothing to do with illegal immigration. It's an effort to force everybody into this system. And they say, first it'll be to work, next it'll be to shop, it'll be for your health care, it'll be for your government benefits. And it's coming at us like a freight train. A few years after they first proposed it in 2010, Obama started pushing an idea that we needed a digital ID to go on the internet so that we couldn't be anonymous anymore online. We need to be clear. This is a tool for totalitarianism.
You work for the World Bank as a lawyer, you're a banker, and you were a whistleblower inside the World Bank, not just one time, but several times. It crescendoed with a big, almost $1 billion, whistleblowing fraud, malfeasance in the World Bank in Indonesia. And for that, you got a pink slip in 2009.
Getting back to the Federal Reserve and the Bank for International Settlements, these groups are in cahoots with the biggest crooks of all, the Jesuits that bought up Bank of America, and they have little secret deals to try to apportion the riches of the world. And in the meantime, all of the countries of the world know that this thievery is going on. We are talking about the biggest thuggery of all, and that is the Jesuits in the Vatican.
We're bringing back religion in our country, and we're bringing it back quickly and strongly. Because for America to be a great nation, we must always be one nation under God, a phrase that they would like to get rid of, the radical left. But Ben, I don't think we're going to let them get rid of that, right? We will make America rich and healthy again. And why don't we say rich, healthy, and religious again, okay? Shall I add that for this group? Right, Dan Patrick? And, they work right out of the White House. They've never done that. That's never been done before. No other president allowed that. I think, they say separation. They say separation between church and state, they told me. I said, all right, let's forget about that for one time. We said, really, the separation? I don't know. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm not sure. But whether there's separation or not, you guys are in the White House where you should be, and you're representing our country, and we're bringing religion back to our country, and it's a big deal.
Good morning, and welcome to the War Department. Because the era of the Department of Defense is over. You see, the motto of my first platoon was, "Those who long for peace must prepare for war." This is, of course, not a new idea. This crowd knows that. The origin dates to the 4th century Rome and has been repeated ever since, including by our first commander-in-chief, George Washington, the first leader of the War Department. It captures a simple yet profound truth. To ensure peace, we must prepare for war. From this moment forward, the only mission of the newly restored Department of War is this: warfighting, preparing for war and preparing to win, unrelenting and uncompromising in that pursuit.
This is Vatican.com, and it's an article from 2018. It's not an article from the 1500s.
No.
And it talks about who and what are the Jesuits, the Society of Jesus, the Jesuit order. And let's read it. At least let's read the first portion. The Jesuits focused on intellectual research, education, schools, higher education, religious seminaries. They became the schoolmasters of Europe. It's history. They run a plethora of universities, and those that they don't directly control, they control indirectly. Period.
Yeah.
They are the schoolmasters of the world. The curricula of the world are schooled upon Jesuit ideology, whether we like it or not. These people are behind assassinations of unwanted political and religious figures. These people are behind the fomentation of wars, of revolutions, and now they have come to the front with their papal knights masquerading as evangelicals, and they will implement the papal agenda. The mark of the beast will be proclaimed, and we are going to head for the final conflict. And the people of God have a decision to make, to the law and to the testimony.